feel the, the value of the money that we have. Our kids actually know, easy come, easy go. I mean, we spend on them. They lead, or most of them, very extravagant lifestyle, right? Very extravagant lifestyle, and they spend based on what they have, not based on what they need. Well, it is your job as a dad or a mom to educate your kids. Baba, listen, this money is not coming for free. I'm striving, working almost 7 days a week, traveling and just working 12 hours a day to secure that fund for you. So you need to appreciate it. A part of your responsibility is not to be too generous with your kids. Okay? You need to deprive them sometimes from something that they like, especially if they misbehave themselves financially. A part of that actually is to establish that culture within your household that every single individual has to have a saving mentality. It is a mentality. It is a mindset, right? So let your kids, your son or your daughter want to buy a iPhone, for example, right? Or maybe like a video game. You do have money, and you love your son the most, or your daughter. Well, do not be too generous and just give him $500 to buy it. No, you should connect that money with something. Okay, show me like 15 or 20 different tests or exams, right? With 90% plus, and I will give you $5 for each, or $10. Whenever you finish memorizing Juz' Amma or Juz' Tabarak, I'll give you $100. So you need to connect that giving with something good. You insert in his heart and his mind, okay, how to be appreciative to the money that he has. A part of that is to help him or her to save some money. Even if he does not need that money now, the saving one, well, let him continue just saving that money, because a day will come, he will need that money. So when we say live below your means, always train yourself to be a kind of conservative. I just said a few minutes ago, if you make $8,000 a month, like the take-home amount, and you spend $8,000, I don't think you are doing a good job. No, you are not, with all due respect. You have to make sure that you put $400 to $500 a month. Be conservative. Think before you spend the money. I'm not saying that you should be like very, very stingy and you give your wife, a hard time, right? And you just investigate every single thing that she wants. No, do not do that. Just be moderate, like something in between. Pay off expensive debts. That's a good point. You do have a mortgage. I'm not saying mortgage haram or halal. I'm just like talking in general. And your interest rate is 4 or 5%, right? And you know for a fact that based on the amortization system here in the USA, if your monthly payment is, let's say, $3,000, whatever you pay on top of the $3,000, what will happen? That extra amount will go toward the principal and consequently reduces the interest. Is that correct? Well, instead of like torturing yourself for 30 years paying mortgage, why do not you, what if something happened and you just, got $100,000 or $200,000? My recommendation, just go ahead and pay it off for your house and have a clear title as soon as possible. Another example that is more explicit. You are not supposed to borrow money with interest to start with. You are not supposed to. Let's say that something happened and you were unable to catch up with your credit card. What will happen when the grace period, when the introductory period ends? What will happen? They're gonna start, sucking your blood. They charge you 25, 30, 35% interest, right? Something happened, there was an outstanding balance with 30% interest, right? And you got some money, okay? Bonus, overtime, whatever, inheritance from one of your, okay? And you have $50,000 cash. Are you supposed to invest those $50,000 somewhere, or you should pay off the credit card? My recommendation, go ahead and pay off the credit card. Do you know why? Because there is no assurance that if you invest that $50,000 in any project that you will be making 35% profit, right? But the 35% actually penalty or interest is already there, and they are charging you. It's just an engine, like always calculating interest. So go ahead and just pay off that high interest rate loan And then you can, if you still have anything that's left over, you can go ahead and put it in whatever you want. Track your spending. That's another actually culture that we have to establish. Okay, do not just overlook your bank statement. Every single day, every other day, okay, log into your bank account and find out who is spending what. Okay, my wife actually does have like a copy of my debit card. We have a joint account, and she can just spend whatever she wants. My kids actually do have my debit card on their like Apple Pay, right? At the end of the day, I just check the account and find out who spent what. If something looks suspicious, well, believe it or not, I do not let it go, even if it is $5, even if it is $10. Not because I care too much about the $5. No, I don't. I mean, $5 is nothing. It is the concept. It is the principle itself. Why you spend $10 for no need? And I hold an investigation and ask my daughter or my son and just make sure that they do not do it again. Once they realize that you are that serious, regardless of the amount, $5 or $500, it is the concept. Why you pay something, okay? Why you purchase something that you do not need, right? Once they realize that you are that serious, they will think maybe 10 times before they do it again. So you need to be that conservative actually individual and make sure that you track your spending. How much you paid for groceries, for transportation, for holidays and tourism, for Islamic conventions, for your utility bills, for your gas, for the maintenance, okay, for entertainment. You need to find out. And some of those credit card companies, by the way, they help you every year. They send you like an annual report breaking down your expenditures, and they classify them for you. Entertainment, utilities, food and groceries, healthcare, and so on and so forth. Okay, it's way better for you to take a look and just to find out the percentage of each category. Are you in the right track, or you want to change your spending style? Okay, review your credit. How much time? Review your credit report. Make sure that you maintain 750 at least 750. If your credit report or a credit score are not that good, well, you better work on fixing and go back to at least maybe 730 or to 750, because of a very simple reason. Once you have a good credit scores, right, you will be of course halal. You will be getting lower like profit rate whenever you want to mortgage for your house, for example. I'm not saying that mortgage is halal. I'm saying we do have some Islamic options here. Whenever you apply for a halal mortgage, whenever you want, you know what, forget about the mortgage. Whenever you want to finance for your car, right? If it is halal finance, and instead of paying 7% or 8% interest, right, it will go down to 1 or 2%. Why? Because your credit score actually is good enough. So this is something important for people living in this society. Make sure that your credit history and scores are as good as possible. Check out your financial advisor. If you have like a good amount of money invested in the stock market, do not just pick and choose randomly. Okay, make sure that you choose the right individual for you. Okay, check the reviews on that individual, male or female, right? Make sure that he is the right person. Make sure that he shares the same, the same principles and culture that you have. Okay, as a religious practicing Muslim, you want to invest in something halal. Is he on the same, or is she or he on the same page? Does he appreciate your ethics and your values and your principles when it comes to investing? You don't want to give him like a lecture every single week what to do and what to avoid. Moving on, make sure your investments are safe, which is most probably the case. If you have like a checking account, make sure it is secured by the FDIC, by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Do not try to predict the future. If you do have an investment in the stock market for the last 10 years, with all due respect, do not think that you are expert in an investment. You are an investor, but you are not a wealth manager. You are not a financial advisor. Those who are running your portfolio are the expert individuals. They do have some data. They do have access to certain numbers and certain database. They can tell, they can predict up to a certain limit the future because of the qualification and the training and the certification that you have. So the fact that you do have an investment in the stock market does not make you expert by default. Well, you are not. So you need to refer to your, to your financial advisor or wealth manager. Do not stop contributing to your 401k. As I said just a few minutes ago, I came across like several brothers and sisters who do not have 401k period at all. Akhi, why do not you have a retirement account? Okay, and he said, well, there is no assurance. Okay, I cannot be sure 100%. This is his statement. I cannot be sure 100% that my investment in the stock market is 100% halal. Seriously? Who said, Akhi, that if your investment is not 100% halal, then you have to give it up? Who said that? How about the saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ? Be conscious to Allah as much as you can. How about the saying of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, مَا نَهَيْتُكُمْ عَنْهُ فَاجْتَنِبُوهُ? Whatever I prohibited you from doing it, stay away from it. وَمَا أَمَرْتُكُمْ بِهِ فَأْتُوا مِنْهُ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Whatever I command you to do it as much as you can. I just said that there is no financial instrument nowadays in the whole world, okay, on the surface of the earth that's purely 100% halal. Do you want just just close the door, right, and prohibit all the Muslim community all over the world from investing in the stock market because stocks in the market are not 100% halal? That is way too much, way too much. A few weeks ago, I asked like one of those brothers, Akhi, what will happen if you just pass away today or tomorrow? Did you leave anything for your family members? He said, well, I depend on Allah Azza wa Jal and Allah will take care of them. I said, seriously? So those who are taking all the possible measures and invest are not depending on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Let me ask you this. Whenever you feel sick, do you stay home and depend on Allah Azza wa Jal, or you go to the doctor asking for health care while depending on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When you feel hungry, do you just stay home and ask Allah Azza wa Jal to feed you, or you walk to the restaurant or to the kitchen and you eat while depending on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why when it comes to rizq and sustenance and provision for your family members, you depend on Allah without taking the possible measures? That makes no sense. It makes no sense, right? If you do have some other alternative, if you can have like your own direct investment, okay, you have the business mentality and you are available enough, you enjoy what you do, you want to invest in real estate, go for it. But do you want to tell me that like 5 to 7 million Muslims, they have to abandon, okay, and quit the stock market and just go to the real estate business and start working, buying and selling? You are asking too much. We need to be realistic and not idealistic. We need to be realistic and not idealistic. Okay. So when it comes to 501k, my second presentation, inshallah, will be digging in depth on how to pick and choose what's halal and what are the Islamic organizations that can help you determining the halal and the haram investment. One of them is Atina. I wish my brother here maybe can help me from Atina, inshallah, to talk about it whenever we like in the second presentation. But for the time being, do not stop contributing for your 401k, okay? Because this is a part of your financial stability, okay? And by quitting it, actually, you are depriving yourself and your family members from a very good source of income. If you are depending on the Social Security, you are wrong, you are mistaken. How much you will be getting from Social Security? Do you know that the average payment, like paycheck in 2022 is around $1,600? $1,600. I mean, this is the average paycheck of Social Security in the United States in 2022. Do you want to tell me that $1,600 is sufficient for your family members and for you after you retire? That's absolutely insufficient. So let's be realistic, right? Every one of us here, needs between 70 to 80, well, sometimes 90, believe it or not, 100% of his salary after retirement. So you should strive from now to make sure that whenever you retire, right, your salary is backed up by different sources of income. Okay, if you are making now $8,000, make sure that even after you retire, you still make $8,000. Living expenses actually is too high. Inflation is too high. Whatever you were able to purchase for $500 2 years ago, you have to pay $700 or $800 today to purchase the same item. Inflation actually is killing the economy in the United States. Maybe you are not paying attention to that. Inflation is so severe, it's killing the economy in the United States. So we have to make sure that we do have sufficient sources of income whenever we retire. Make sure that your 401k is as halal as possible. If you are a superman, like you can make it 100% halal, go for it. But if you cannot, and the only thing you can do is to keep it 70 or 80% halal, just keep it as is. 80% halal, 20% haram. Very simple math. Every single year, you need to find out how much profit, how much dividend you have made from that 401k. Get rid of, dispose 20% of the profit of that account that is coming from haram, right? And the rest actually is still halal. There is nothing in our deen, brothers and sisters. There is nothing in our deen that if you do have, for example, any business, you have a grocery store, how about that? Grocery store. And you you serve pork products and liquor, right? The total income, the gross income that's coming from your grocery store, $10,000 a month. $2,000 is coming from the pork and the liquor. $8,000 are coming from the halal other products. There is no way in the Islamic finance system that those $8,000 are becoming haram because we have $2,000 mixed up with them. That's incorrect. And vice versa. There is no way for those $2,000 to be halal because they are mixed up with another $8,000 halal. There is no way. وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى. Right? The 2,000 are haram and the $8,000 are halal. You see? Likewise, when it comes to 401k, you should strive, do your best to keep your investment as halal as possible. And again, the part 2 of the session, inshallah, will be focusing more on how to unlock the secret of the stock market and find out different kinds of financial instruments and how to pick and choose the halal stocks. I think I need to stop here because of the time. We do have a lot of things to discuss. Do not make sudden moves in the stock market. Okay, do not give up on stocks. Stocks is the only thing that you have as an option for you to invest. Do not pay high management fees. Do not follow the herd. Okay, do not listen to your colleagues and your friends who are investing. Just listen to your financial advisor. Do not forgo necessary insurance. I wish I have time to talk about insurance. Do not invest in anything that you do not understand. Well, I'll be stopping here, and that is part 2, inshallah, will be discussed later on. Jazakallah.
So, Dr. Mann, you mentioned that so if you have $8,000 worth of income, that you should save some of that. So is that $8,000 after your 401k or before your 401k? So let's say my take-home pay is $8,000, right? But you said that I should save, from my take-home pay, I should save for 6 months of living costs, right? But from my $8,000 of income, is that so? Let's say before it was maybe $10,000 a month, and I put 20% away in my 401k. Is that enough, or should I save on top of that?
Well, in my opinion, from the take home amount, if you can put aside between 2 to 3% of the net amount that you spend. I mean, forget about the tax that you pay, forget about the 401k, no. Like from the net amount, from the take home amount, if you can put aside 2.5 or 3% every single month, that will be great. You will be surprised after a few months or a few years, you're gonna end up having thousands of dollars.
Okay. So then I don't know if I'm explaining this correct, because because usually 401k is pre-tax earnings, right? Because there's pre-tax and then there's after-tax earnings. Also, what's your opinion on that? Because let's say in my 401k, my employer matches 8%, right? And so I put in 10%. But then when I do that, I say it's 10% pre-tax, and then I do another, maybe on top of that, another 10% after tax. That way, when I retire, when I have to take away from my 401k, yeah, 'cause unfortunately I'm getting older too, and so I have to think about it. So because if everything I put in my 401k now is pre-tax earnings, when I do take out of it, I have to pay taxes on top of that, right? But if I put in after tax into my 401k, when I take money from that, since I've already paid taxes on that, I don't pay taxes on that, right? So that keeps my tax bracket lower, so that let's say I have $1 million in my 401k that's pre-tax, and then $1 million that's after tax, and then when I go to take money off of it when I retire, let's say, like you said, I need $100,000 a year. If I took $100,000 a year out of my pre-tax 401k, I would be taxed at $100,000, right? So at the $100,000, I think my tax bracket would be about 18%. So
yeah, let's keep it simple. The point that I was emphasizing is that in addition to the saving that goes to your 401k, in addition to the IRA, in addition to all the different kind of investment that you have, if you can put aside some cash money, okay, cash money like for emergency purposes, you stopped working, you lost your job during the transitional period from being laid off from one job until you find another job, let's say 2 or 3 months. My point here is that if you do have sufficient cash where you can tap on, that's way better than compromising the assets that you are building for the last few years. No.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the audience?
Well, first of all, akhi, you are not if you are the business owner, you are not supposed to serve something haram to start with, right? I mean, this is the default rule. Stay away from whatever is haram. Okay, someone is not listening here. Insist on serving pork products and liquor products in his grocery store, and he makes 2,000, okay? And from the halal groceries, he makes $8,000. Those $2,000 profit that's coming from the haram are purely haram. So he has to dispose that amount. He has to dispose, get rid of that amount by just putting it in charity and public interest project, helping others. But he cannot spend that money on himself or on his family members, right? Well, the fact that he is willing to compromise and to give up that haram money is a rewardable act. It is a rewardable act because that person actually is able to keep that money and spend it on himself. Out of God-fearing, he wants to dispose that money. Okay? So he will be rewarded, or she will be rewarded, because of disposing the haram money, okay, although he is able to use it. You see my point here?
Yeah, so in the disposal of that haram money, you cannot count it towards their zakat or sadaqah, because it's haram. Again, it's not.
No, you cannot. You cannot pay it as zakah.
Yeah.
You cannot pay it as sadaqah. You just dispose the haram money, and inshallah you will be rewarded for the good intention of getting rid, right, of the haram money. But it will never be counted as your zakah. Prophet ﷺ said, "Inna Allah Ta'ala tayyibun la yaqbalu illa tayyib." Allah is pure and does not accept anything other than whatever is pure.
I think yeah.
Question. My husband will be retired, inshallah, January. And my question is, when he, what do you call it? Retire, and then he take the money, do we have to pay zakat on those money? And because when I just heard that it's halal and haram, how are we going to divine? Because we don't know whether it's haram investment.
Whatever money you do have accessible to you or to your husband, is a zakatable one. Whatever is accessible, owned by you, is zakatable. So you retired, your husband retired. By the way, I still remember you. I have met with you in Masjid Istiqlal several times.
Yes.
You remember me?
Yes.
So let's say, for example, that you do have an access to $500,000, right? If that amount is accessible in full, okay, which means that you can just withdraw the $500,000 right away. That $500,000 actually is zakatable. That $500,000 actually is zakatable. And that's why you better just reinvest that money somewhere else, reinvest it to set off the zakah. If you reinvest that money, just put it in an IRA, put it in a mutual fund, put it in a REIT business like real estate investment trust business. If you make 2 digits like 10%, 12%, that will be more than enough to set off the zakah, the 2.5%, and to set off the inflation. Inflation is going, alhamdulillah, now down, but it's not, as usual, like between 1 to 1.5%. It's still between 5 to 7%. So reinvest that money to make sure that you are generating money to set off the zakah and the inflation. On top of it, you still make some profit. Make sense?
It means,
You invested in business.
yeah, we planning to invest it in Roth, but then I was telling him, do we have to pay or zakat, even though we do it automatically?
If you put it in an IRA, right, or simple investment account or brokerage account, if that amount actually is not accessible, okay, because actually the qaida, the rule here or the standard, whatever accessible is zakatable. Whatever accessible is zakatable. By the way, do you have to pay zakah on your 401k during your employment, like before you retire? That is the answer. You go with the withdrawable amount. You have in your account $1 million straight worth of investment. Fidelity or Vanguard or whatever the investment company gives you up to 50% access if you file for something called the humanitarian case or hardship. They give you access to 50% of your account. So the accessible amount in your case is how much? $500,000, right? You do have $1 million worth of investment and you have an access to 50%. That 50% actually, 50% is the zakatable part. Now, if you want to proceed, if you want to withdraw that money, how much you will be taking home? Oh, you will be penalized. You will be paying, tax, processing fees, whatever. Do the math on papers and find out how much you have to pay, right? Deduct that amount from the accessible amount. The net amount actually is a zakatable one. So you have $1 million worth of investment in your 401k. The accessible amount is 50%. That is $500,000. If you decide to proceed, you will be charged $100 straight, between penalty, between tax, between you name it. So the zakatable amount is how much? $400,000. $400,000 times 2.5%. You do the math and you pay the zakah. And you have to do the same exercise every single year.
Okay. Jazakallah khair.
One more question.
Assalamu alaikum. She asked about the cash back from the credit card. Is halal or haram?
Yeah, cashback actually is halal because it is the opposite of interest. Okay. Why it is the opposite? When I borrow from you $100 and I pay you back $110, that's an interest-bearing loan. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. When I borrow from you $100 and I pay you back only $100, that's an interest-free loan.
True.
Correct? When I borrow from you $100 and I pay you back the net amount only $90, is this an interest? No, it is not. No. It is the opposite of interest. That's exactly what happened when you use your credit card, right? And you do have cash back policy. You borrow $100 by just swiping your credit card, purchasing items. You borrow money, okay? You purchase items for $100. So you are borrowing $100. Because of the cash back, like 10% or 5%, the net amount that you pay is how much? Only 90. So you are the one, the borrower is the one who is benefiting, is like paying less, and that's why it is halal.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah. We do have actually a lot to discuss in the second and the third session. I'm going nowhere. I'm staying here, spending the night here, inshallah, with you, and tomorrow morning I'm going to Houston. So a lot of discussion, inshallah, will be taking place regarding the stock market, right, and how to invest when it comes to insurance, when it comes to direct investment and the, like, you know, on the ground, not through the stock market, inshallah. Sure. Sure.
Hello. Sorry. If I was to like help out a family member who's going to college, would that count as like zakat if I'm just giving them the money to help their education? Like, is it fine to give to a family member for zakat? Like, if their parents are you know, poor, not able to support them, and we're supporting them instead.
Do you support some relatives?
Yeah, so I have
Like extended family members?
Yeah, like a cousin who, you know, doesn't have the means to go to school. And so we're helping them with, you know, part of their schooling because their parents aren't able to support them.
Are they Muslims?
Yes, alhamdulillah.
Okay. Well, if you do have the intention, of giving those needy individuals, students or parents who are unable to, like, you know, cover the expense of their kids, if your intention is to pay that money out of your zakah, it will be counted as zakah. Why I'm saying so? Because zakah, as you know well, is one of the pillars of Islam. So it will not be counted valid without having the proper intention. So was your intention to give them zakah or not?
It was, yes.
Well, if the answer is yes, then yes, whatever you paid will be counted against your zakah. Make sure from now on that you have in mind, in your heart and your mind, that whatever I'm paying to XYZ individuals is a part of my zakah. Okay? The only individuals who are ineligible to receive zakatul mal from you are your ascendants and descendants. Like your parents, your grandparents and up, your children and your grandchildren and down. Those are the only ones whom you cannot pay zakat al-mal because of the mutual sponsorship responsibility between the parents and the kids, right? Anything else like siblings, like your blood brother, can you pay him zakat al-mal if he's in need? The answer is yes, you can. You see? Brothers, sisters, aunts, paternal, maternal, cousins, everybody else, I mean, you can. In fact, actually, you will be rewarded more when you pay your zakah to your close relatives because they have like a right upon you more than others, more than strangers. It will be counted as zakah and sadaqah, according to the, zakah and silatu rahim, like having like a good tight with the good relationship with your family members, right?
Yeah.
Extended family members, and it will be counted as zakah as well.
And they have to be Muslim for it to be
What's that?
zakat? They have to be Muslim?
Well, according to the strongest opinion, yes, they have to be Muslims. However, we do have like a very strong, well-established opinion that if they are potential Muslims, right, like prospective Muslims, they might accept Islam, they are that close from being Muslims, you can still pay them zakatul mal. I would rather just go, like, be in the safe side and say that zakah is to be given to Muslims only. You can give to potential Muslims from the sadaqah contribution, but not, you know, not zakatul mal. Yes, sir.
Again, I'm sorry we had to cut it short. I know we started a little bit late, and again, Dr. Mayed has additional sessions. Thanks everyone for their time today. Special thanks, especially to Dr. Mayed for taking his time today and discussing these issues with us. Let me close our session by reading the dua to close it. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Again, jazakallah khair for everyone for attending, and hopefully we'll see you at the second session, which is I think after Salat al-Zuhr. Okay. Again, thanks everyone. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.